This week, a senior U.S. official said negotiators went 90% of the way to a deal between Israel and Hamas. Included in that agreement are plans for a ceasefire and for Hamas to release the hostages it holds. But perhaps that senior official was surprised when, in an interview on Fox News Thursday morning, Benjamin Netanyahu said unequivocally, "There's not a deal in the making. Unfortunately, it is not close. So, if not that deal, then what?" My next guests, top former officials from Israel and Gaza, have a plan, a new plan. Ehud Olmert was the 12th Prime Minister of Israel, and Nasser al-Qidwa was the Foreign Minister of the Palestinian Authority. I want to welcome both of you, and to note it's a very rare moment to have two of you on the same platform. I don't believe you've had a prominent Israeli and a prominent Palestinian for a long time. But let me begin, Ehud, by asking you, tell us what is your impression of what is going on in Israel right now? There are these protests. There is great sadness, obviously, about the brutal murder of these 6 hostages. What is the political consequence? Are we at some kind of a potential inflection point?
I believe that we are close to a turning point. We have to make a deal. And I completely trust the announcement by the White House that they have an idea for a deal which can work if the Israeli Prime Minister will agree to do it. He doesn't want to do it not because of any reasonable reason regarding the security or the national interest of the State of Israel, but rather because it doesn't fit in with his own personal considerations and political interests, and this is quite obvious to everyone in Israel and his former partners to the coalition, the generals, the former chiefs of staff, Gantz and Eisenkot, who know something about military and something about this Philadelphia corridor, say that this is nonsense, this is not an excuse, this is not a reason. He simply doesn't want to end the war. The only way to reach an agreement at the end of the day is to end the war between us and the Palestinians in Gaza and to embark on a new, different direction that Dr. Nasser al-Qidwa and myself thought about and talked about and wrote about.
Nasser al-Qidwa, when I look at this plan, it feels to me like you are coming back to something that has been proposed again and again. And, you know, it hasn't worked for whatever reason. Why will a two-state solution proposed this time work when it didn't in 2000, when it didn't when Ehud Olmert proposed it to Abu Mazen? So why is this plan different from the other plans?
I think we need to be clear about what we have in hands. This is not a plan, not a comprehensive plan, but this is very important mutual proposal on the most important 3 issues in hands, namely the situation in Gaza, the war in Gaza, and need for immediate cessation, and the political solutions in the form of the 2 states, as well as the future of Jerusalem. Now, to answer your questions, why it might work this time, while it did not work in the past, the answer might be simple: because of the war. Because I believe that the people on both sides have become tired of the war, and they want to see an end of the war and a substitute to the war. So what is the substitute? The substitute is what we said in our mutual proposal in terms of ending the war and the meaning of the ceasefire, the release of all hostages, the release of the agreed number of Palestinian prisoners, the full withdrawal of the Israeli troops, the establishment of a governmental body in the form of a transitional council of commissioners in Gaza that is organically linked to the Palestinian Authority. We don't want to create any different entities in the West Bank. On the contrary, we want to maintain the territorial integrity and the unity of the Palestinian people. You know, there is an alternative to war, that we can do it together in a different way, that we don't need to go the same path of killing, of maiming people, of bloodbath that we see in Gaza. We have to end that, and the alternative is definitely the road of debate, the road of reconciliation, the road of political solution, and yes, two states, Israel and Palestine, based on a mutual recognition on the basis of 1967 borders, with, by the way, the territorial solution that was proposed by Prime Minister Overmert, the 4.4% of the territory that is to be exchanged in this swap between the two states.
When I look at Israel now, it feels to me that the political support for a two-state solution, which is at the heart of your proposal, just has evaporated. It was there in 2000, maybe it was there when you were proposing it, but today, I mean, if you look at, by any indication, the left of the Israeli political spectrum essentially has vanished. I mean, Labour is down to 3 seats. If you look at what the Knesset did when they passed a resolution that said there will be no two-state solution, that was voted for by many more members than Bibi Netanyahu's coalition. A very thumping majority of the Knesset voted for that. I think only 8 people voted against. So at this moment, it feels like, Israel is just not going to go for a two-state solution.
Farid, this is precisely the reason why we have to put it right now on the agenda. It's time to change direction. We are going to defeat Hamas. We already defeated Hamas. Maybe we'll kill a few more, and there will not be any Hamas left. What then? There are 6 million Palestinians. I commend Dr. El-Qidwa for his courage to understand that this is not the time for avenging each other. This is the time for moving away from the bleeding of this terrible confrontation that we had into a direction that may offer a new horizon. And that's what we're trying to do. It's highly unpopular maybe now amongst them and amongst us. When it will become popular, it will be very easy. It's now difficult, therefore it's the time now to stand forward without any fear and to understand that we are fulfilling a mission that will change the Middle East and maybe will change the world.